Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yannis Tsitos. I'm the president of Goldsource Mines. The company is a Canadian resource company trading under the symbol GXS in Canada and GXS-FF in the United States. We are controlling 100% a project in Guyana, in the Republic of Guyana in South America. It's called Eagle Mountain. And I would like to talk a little bit about scale and scalability and where our asset is at the moment in terms of development. I will do some forward-looking statements, so please pay attention to our cautionary statements when you see our presentations. Right, so we just produced last month a new resource estimate combined between indicated and inferred resources at 1,850,000 ounces. Starting almost on surface. So we talk about scale on one side, and the project is open in all lateral directions and in depth. So it might become, with further drilling, a multi-million ounce project. But what is more important than scale is scalability. In a time where there is a congestion of producing assets, in other words, stuff that people want to build at the same time. There's no other pro-cyclical business than mining in outside the resources world. So everybody wants to build at the same time, using the same consultants or the same capital from the same sources. So having something that is flexible in terms of how you're going to build or scale the project, start at smaller size and go later on from free cash flow to a bigger operation is what you need to find. Optionality is very important, not only on the development cycle, but also in terms of geometry of the actual project. And our project fits very well that kind of parameter from a point of view that we are horizontal and not a vertical body spanning an area between 2.5 kilometers by 5 kilometers on the other dimension, as you will see in the maps. So we are talking open pitable, shallow resource that will be mined to a depth of 150 meters up to one date when it includes the hard rock. But most importantly, a significant amount of the ounces, in excess of 400,000 ounces, is located within the saprolite weather layer of granodiorite. The photograph you see on the side is a trench showing exactly what means free gold into this environment, something you don't need to blast, but you just scoop it and pass it from a CIL plant without the use of big mills. So the actual slide you see here is about 123 meters at 2 grams when it was discovered about 2 years ago, the specific body of Salbora. We're talking about a skilled team. You can check us. We've got more than 160 years experience among board and management. We have built 6 mines in our careers. We're working with some of biggest people here, Wheaton Precious Metals, Detour Gold, Silvercrest, so BHP and so on, are people experienced on this board and directors. Guyana, for the people that haven't seen, I would like to draw your attention to this country. It's the only English-speaking country in South America, effectively a Caribbean state located in that continent, that is going some tremendous change. Exxon particularly discovered massive amounts of oil offshore in Guyana. They started production 2 years ago, and even in a year of pandemic, Guyana grew up by 34% its GDP last year. So, of course, we are a mining corporation. We don't care that much about oil, but where we care is that all the proceeds of the government indirectly assist in a project like Eagle Mountain on infrastructure builds and all the development that happens in the country. So Guyana is transforming as the richest country per head in all Americas, as per Bloomberg. And when it comes to geology, is definitely underexplored. So you see the green rock on the side, 120 million years ago when South America was connected to Africa. It's all prospective, it's a Proterozoic belt. There are 3 times the amount of mines that you find in South America in Africa, and the only difference is vegetation. The African side is much easier explored. The South American part is jungle, so it's more difficult to access the areas. But given that it's a good secular democracy. We see all majors coming to Guyana to scout around. VRIC is already exploring the country. Several other companies are coming. And of course, Gran Colombia bought Toroparu project about half a year ago and is going towards construction as we speak. There are other significant assets both on gold and bauxite, and is a great jurisdiction to operate. I've got a couple of slides there, but I don't want to talk in more detail. It's already procured projects in terms of roads coming to the interior. Eagle Mountain is located 230 kilometers south of the capital, Georgetown. It's connected by road to the capital, but of course is within an environment of a rainforest, so the better infrastructure, the most important for us. Another big project for us is a hydro plant. They plan to build, it's already in the financing stage at the moment, about 55 kilometers north of Eagle Mountain, which will bring power to a town of 4,000 people just next to our project, 8 kilometers to Eagle Mountain. So from this perspective, we see connecting to a grid at a later stage within the mine is going to be an important stage for the development of Eagle. Every red dot you see on this map is representing a gold showing or a gold deposit or some artisanal operation. We are the green block that you see in the center of the circles, a property of 5,000 hectares, effectively 10 by 5 kilometers block, where, as you see on the right picture, the mineralization that when we zoom in our property has been heavily drilled. You see here the footprint of 770 holes. So sometimes you look into resources and they come with a resource outline based on 30 holes or 50 holes. Our project is based, or the resources that we put last month out is based out of 85,000 meters. So 75,000 of that is compliant, consisting 771 holes. So you see the consistency of the ore, the depth of burial, and how much you believe into this project, much easier in terms of de-risking the project when you drill more. And we are the biggest player in this vicinity of a tremendous endowment of gold in the whole region of Madhya. All right, in the big picture, we had 5 new discoveries in the last 3 years. We produced 2 MREs, 2 new resource estimates, with the last one of April 2022 through CSA Global. We are drilling at the moment to expand the resource. The previous drilling last year was mainly infill to move mostly of the inferred resources into indicated. And we have achieved the target of 1.2 million ounces, 1.250 actually million ounces of indicated pit-constrained shallow resources up to 75 meters that will become economic reserves later in the year. So we are working now on secondary metallurgical studies, geotechnical work, variography, hydrogeological, all the other parameters that we built a pre-feasibility study. We expect to have the pre-feasibility as per our disclosure in the first half of next year, and beyond that it's only permitting and construction financing. In Guyana, nobody has ever been rejected an application for sanitization in the history of Guyana, and as I say, it's very much pro-mining jurisdiction with complete lack of environmentalists and NGOs opposing mining. I spoke for most of the stuff already. You can see details of the resource in terms of grade and shallowness, amount of drilling and metallurgy, about 96.5% recovery. It's purely gold, no silver, no copper, no nasties. So effectively what you mine, you produce a gold doré, which is going to be clean from any additional products. This is the footprint of the resource. As I mentioned before, on the flanks of a hill, about 2.6 kilometers on one dimension, and with all the new discoveries along this north-south structure, you've got another 4.5 kilometers of new bodies and targets that we're drilling as we speak. Unfortunately, it's quite far away from you, but you cannot see. This is the resource estimate with the brown color representing indicated resources, the yellow ground or color representing inferred resources around indicated. So there is some scope to move more inferred into indicated for reserves. On the right side, you can see the zonation, different sub-horizontal bodies that sometimes connect to each other, and you've got this kind of 40, 60, 80 meters, depends on the hole of mineralization, in most cases starting from surface, going into this kind of depth. Highlight hole, last year we drilled an area just to show you there is rich parts of the deposit, 34 meters of true width at 20 grams on the right side in an area called Ounce Hill. A second style of mineralization within the property, subvertical breccias, but the bulk of the resource is mainly in the horizontal granodiorite project, 1.6 million ounces, while 250,000 ounces are or these new bodies that you can see the pit outline on the right side on the subvertical, some paint glass breccias to be mined on this front with a little bit higher strip ratio. But overall, all the resource, the way it is presented as pit constrained, it comes to about 2.4 to 1 strip ratio at this moment. What are the 2022 objectives? Of course, we're exploring. We've got a big property. We've got numerous targets. We recently announced a new discovery called Soka that is not part of the resource estimate. So we've got 3 more bodies like that we explore in the property. We've got, at the same time, as I said, all the right engineering studies, and hopefully next year, early next year, we will have the PFS completed. I will skip some of them given the time requirements I have here, but encourage you to visit our webpage to find more details about the project and all the other technical information. You can reach me at my booth at 733, as I said. When it comes to operating, no surprise on the engineering side. This is a straightforward, crushing, through crushing and a ball mill to a CIL plant. But given the amount of saprolite of 450,000 ounces, effectively you may start the operation with a smaller mill and go to CIL because 45% of the resource can bypass the mill when it comes to saprolite. This is the timetable. At last, but not least, feasibility. Expect a lot of milestones in the next 18 months in terms of feasibility studies, permitting, construction, financing. Here is our board. I cannot speak on that at this time, but at the end of the story, my last slide is, you see our capital structure. Unfortunately, we choked on a consolidation that took place last year, 10-1. So we've got a very tight structure at the moment at about 53 million shares. 2 of the most influential people in gold business are our biggest shareholders, Mr. Eric Sprott and Joe Foster, Van Eck and Associates out of New York. So we've got about 25% institutional coverage, a lot of private wealth, and at the end of the curve, obviously, you see the dive that all mine explorers on this floor have witnessed in the last month, about 25% down. We carry about $6.2 million in the treasury, enough money to complete our feasibility studies and deliver the project to the construction financing. Thank you very much, and I appreciate if you can come and talk to us at booth 733. Thanks a lot.